Hello, everyone. Welcome to our podcast that always discusses self-development. It's great to be back again with a chat that can inspire and motivate you all. In this podcast, we always talk about topics that are close to everyday life. And this time, we have a special guest, a friend who I think has an interesting view on today's topic, which is how we can build good habits that can lead our lives in a better direction. Let's welcome Grace. How are you, Grace?
Hi, John. Thank you for inviting me here. I'm doing well, and I'm really excited to talk about this. Good habits may seem simple, but the impact is huge if we can be consistent.
I'm also really happy to be able to chat with you on this topic. Good habits are like a foundation, and I'm sure many people want to have good habits, but sometimes they don't know where to start. Maybe we can start by sharing a little of our own experiences about which habits are most beneficial to our lives.
For me personally, one of the habits that has the most positive effects is waking up early. I used to be someone who had difficulty waking up in the morning, but after I tried doing it regularly, it turned out to have many benefits. The morning felt calmer, and I could focus more on doing many things before the day really started. It also made me feel like I had more time for myself.
Very interesting, Grace. I also feel the same way about the habit of waking up early. And besides that, for me, the habit of exercising every day is also very important. I don't always do heavy exercise, but just walking in the morning or stretching for 10 to 15 minutes makes my body fresher and my mood better. Grace, do you have any habits that you feel are really worth maintaining?
I have habits that are worth keeping. I started journaling a few months ago, and it made me more organized. Every night, I write about what I've been through that day, self-reflection, and small plans for tomorrow. It turns out, it really helps to prioritize and relieve stress. Have you ever tried journaling yourself, John?
I've only tried journaling recently, but I can feel the effects. It turns out that journaling makes us more aware of what we think and feel. I feel that it also helps with self-evaluation. Sometimes we forget to look back at what we've done and what can be improved. Grace, in your opinion, why do many people have difficulty starting good habits?
In my opinion, one of the factors is having too high expectations at the beginning. Many people think that they have to be successful in building new habits right away, when in fact it takes time. We often forget that building habits is a process. Maybe we need to start with a small target first. So what do you think, John? What is the most realistic first step to starting a new habit?
Totally agree with you, Grace. Starting small is very important. I always believe that good habits are like seeds that are planted, and we can't harvest the results right away. Just start with something simple, like starting to exercise. Just 5 to 10 minutes per day. The important thing is to be consistent. What do you think, Grace? Are there any small habits that are often underestimated but actually have a big impact?
There are so many, John. One of them is drinking enough water. Simple, but sometimes we forget. If our bodies are well hydrated, we become fresher, more focused, and more productive. I also feel that the habit of eating healthy, even just once a day, can be very helpful. Do you have any small habits that you have done that are beneficial?
Totally agree about hydration and diet. For me, it's probably the habit of getting enough sleep. Sometimes we take sleep for granted because we feel like we can make it up later, but in reality, getting enough sleep is important for mental and physical health. I myself feel that after getting enough sleep, my days become more productive and focused. So, Grace, what do you think are the main reasons why people find it difficult to give up bad habits?
Bad habits usually provide instant comfort. For example, scrolling through social media, snacking in the middle of the night, or putting off work. Our brains like something that is easy and instant, so if we don't fight it, we get stuck there. But actually, it can be overcome if we understand why we do that habit. What do you think, John? Have you ever had a bad habit that was really hard to stop?
Yes, I used to have a habit of putting off work, Grace. Often feel like there's still a lot of time, so take it easy first. But in the end, it becomes a race against the deadline. My way of dealing with it is by dividing big tasks into small parts. So when there is a task, I don't feel too heavy to start. So Grace, in your opinion, what is an effective way to overcome bad habits that we may have been doing for a long time?
Your method is really good, John. Breaking big tasks into small ones is effective for not feeling overwhelmed. I also believe that we can try to replace bad habits with more positive habits. For example, if you often scroll on your cell phone, you can replace it with reading a book or listening to music. So, do you have any other tips, John?
I also often try to switch to other activities, Grace. In addition, I always remind myself to give myself a reward after successfully avoiding bad habits. For example, if you succeed in not playing with your cell phone before going to bed, I will give you more time to watch movies on the weekend. I think with a little reward, we become more motivated. What do you think, Grace? Is this little method effective?
Very effective. That little reward can be an additional motivation. Sometimes we do need self-appreciation to stay motivated. We don't always have to be hard on ourselves, but it's also important to stay disciplined. Now, speaking of discipline, which do you think is more important, John, discipline or motivation?
I think discipline, Grace. Motivation goes up and down, but discipline keeps us going even when we're not motivated. So, in my opinion, if we're disciplined, we can stay consistent. Do you agree?
Totally agree, John. Discipline is like a foundation. We may not always be motivated, but discipline can keep us going. Discipline is also what makes our habits automatic. So for listeners who want to start new habits, maybe you can start focusing on building discipline first.
Absolutely. That way, we can slowly build good habits without having to rely too much on enthusiasm that sometimes comes and goes. Now, before we close this podcast, Grace, do you have any final words for our listeners?
Absolutely, John. For those of you who want to build good habits, remember to start small and realistically. Don't be too hard on yourself if you have a tough day. Remember, consistency is what matters, not perfection. Everything takes time, so enjoy the process.
Wow, thank you so much, Grace, for today's discussion. I'm sure our listeners learned a lot of valuable lessons from you. Thank you for sharing your insights on how to build good habits that can make our lives better. Direction. Direction refers to the path or course along which something moves, or guidance provided for a task. Example. Under the director's direction, the team completed the project successfully. Huge. Huge means very large in size, amount, or degree. Example. Winning the championship was a huge achievement for the team. Heavy. Heavy means involving great effort or difficulty. Example. This job involves heavy labor and long hours. Relieve. Relieve means to reduce or remove pain, stress, discomfort, or worry. Example. Taking a walk in nature helps me relieve stress after a busy day. Avoiding. Avoiding means intentionally staying away from or not engaging in a specific action, situation, or person. Example. Avoiding distractions helped her focus on her studies and improve her grades.
Thank you for watching. To improve your English skills, don't forget to practice every day. Don't forget to click like, subscribe, and comment.